Most hooved animals have their eyes located more on the side of their heads than humans. The advantage to this is that they have a field of vision that spans about 270 degrees compared to the human's 140 degrees of vision. The downside to this though is that the clarity in which they see is diminished. The main thing that we really need to know though is that both the detail and clarity are reduced in their vision compared to ours. The easiest way to think of this is to imagine that deer see a slightly blurrier image, as if they needed glasses. Now because of this, they have identified their potential threats based primarily on outlines and shapes. Aside from movement, which is almost a certain giveaway, this is probably the most important point when we think about camouflaging ourselves from our prey. It tells us that the detail and realism of the leaf and stick shapes in the camouflage pattern aren't actually very important, as they aren't able to be clearly defined by these animals anyway. What is important is our outline. Most of the hunting camouflage scene is saturated with what we call mimicry patterns. These use pictures or photos of sticks, leaves, bark, trees, etc. These mimicry patterns naturally look the best to the human eye. Because our vision is so much sharper than that of hooved animals, we interpret the detail as matching that of the environment it is meant to mimic. Unfortunately, this is the wrong approach to take when trying to fool a deer. With their cloudier vision, they perceive these sticks and leaves as blobs of blurry colour. So they will see a bush on a hillside as a green blob, or a twig as a brown bar. These mimicry camo patterns use low contrast micro patterns, so unfortunately all that nice detail in the camo is lost on a deer. What they do see then is a brown blob and a defined outline, just as we would if we were to look at another hunter dressed in a solid brown jersey. Disruption is therefore the key to fooling ungulates into not seeing us. Disruption in camouflage terms refers to breaking up the vitally important outline. It will trick the animal's eyes into not recognizing the subject as one single object. Instead, it will use a different size pattern to create the illusion of depth. To the animal, it will look as though one part of the pattern is a small object 50 meters away and another part of the pattern is a small object 200 meters away, for example. Based on the science behind their vision, this will be far more effective and a logical approach than trying to trick them into believing that one big object is something that it's not. In essence, mimicry camo tries to trick the animal to believe that the subject is something that it isn't, where disruption camo tricks the animal's eyes into not seeing the subject at all. Desolve Camouflage was designed based on the science of animal vision. The pattern has been optimized to give the greatest breakup for the user at all distances and against all backdrops.